the cost. Oh, there is Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you some parts of our home buying process, as well as share with you some of the projects and the process of those projects that we are currently going through to get the house ready to be moved into. So to kind of convey these different couple things, I'm going to take you guys along. My husband and I are planning on going to Home Depot in a little bit to get a step ladder, to assess some things within the home, as well as to maybe look at just some paint colors to kind of start brainstorming for that. And then we are going to head over to the house and kind of take a look at the inside again. But before we officially kind of head out, I do have just a little bit of downtime to get some coffee in my system, even though it is kind of like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's just been kind of a busy, rainy kind of morning. And I do want to show you some fun things in my doodle planner from Amanda Rach Lee. Just some things that I've enjoyed about it specifically as far as coloring it. But for right now, let's go ahead and get some coffee into my system. Before I forget, I believe that the last vlog that I showed Exo McKenna's Noel candle, and as I predicted, soon after I put out that video, this candle was just about good to go. So how I've decided to repurpose this gorgeous glass vessel is I have used it for my candle accessories. A full report. This guy does a really good job at just looking gorgeous, as well as just being very purposefully reused. So thanks, McKenna, for creating such a beautiful product. All right, so I've shown you this bullet journal before. Absolutely love it. What I wanted to show you for the sake of this video is just how relaxing it is to color. So that's been something that I've been finding as a nice reprieve for myself as well, in the midst of a bunch of house things, to just kind of take time to do something you like to do to relax. I found that I like to color things in as I listen to some of my favorite YouTubers, maybe for some just more talkative videos, or my news YouTubers that I follow. But I'm telling you guys, find something to color in. It'll be good. But now that my coloring spiel is over, it is about time for my husband and I to head out to Home Depot. Unfortunately, didn't get some time to actually do some coloring, but I'll probably find some time to do that tonight. But I'll take you guys with us to Home Depot as we hopefully find a good step ladder. Our ceilings aren't too high. I think the tallest point is like 8.5 feet, so we shouldn't need really too much of a step ladder. And then I'll kind of put on camera just some colors that we're looking at. So let's go. We're now at the house. We just came back from Home Depot, and we might have landed on 2 certain colors of white that we're both a big fan of. One is, shout out to my friend Mariah for guessing what one of the contenders could be, but Swiss coffee is one of the contenders. But then we really think that Simply White is going to be our choice for just the whole interior of the house, but we'll see.
Like me!
He is very Simply White.
Yeah.
In fact, the back of the Simply White card says, Simply White is a clean, basic white.
And it has my social security number on there.
Husband.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's good. But we have those, so it's kind of cool to see the start of that process. But we're gonna probably be vacuuming just a little bit in here, kind of cleaning things up, and then we're going to assess a couple things. This fluorescent light that you guys saw in the apartment tour video, we're going to basically see what it looks like underneath, because we have a guy who's coming in to paint our popcorn ceiling sometime this coming week, and we want to see if we can take off the cover and see if there's any popcorn ceiling underneath that he can do as well. So about the home buying process, first thing that we wanted to figure out was which realtor are we going to have assist us. And thankfully, a lot of friends in the area, including my brother and his wife, my sister, her husband, a couple friends of ours, all bought houses based off of one realtor. Her name is Susan Bastasian. She kind of works in the Gulf Coast area, and she was phenomenal. And what she directed us to do was to work with a certain mortgage company to figure out how much we would be approved for a loan. Now that process, once we worked with, it was Cornerstone Mortgage Solutions, they did a really good job, and they needed to figure out our incomes and if those incomes were valid to be considered for the loan. And how it worked out for us is that we actually just used my income, and I don't really care to share, but before taxes and whatnot are taken out, my income is just about $51,200. I work in a certain county in Florida. So that is my income. We couldn't use my husband's income because he's kind of in the freelancing kind of profession now. He's not necessarily being employed full-time by companies or businesses right now. And so for that to count toward figuring out the loan, he would have needed to work 2 years as a freelancer. But praise Jesus, even with my income, we eventually got approved for up to a $250,000 loan. Once we got approved for a loan, we were able to shop with Susan and really take a look at the different homes in the zip codes that we wanted to look at and kind of start that adventure. But fun fact, when we first looked in the specific zip code we wanted, I originally had this big old list of my wants and must-haves and things like that. What I considered was a must-have were 3-bed, 2-bath, a fireplace, a sunroom, at least 1,500 square feet. And fast forward into where we are now, I've learned that really the area is a really big deal when trying to figure out which house you want to move to, because as we were looking at other zip codes, we were like, okay, well, we can get maybe all the things on my want list, but the area doesn't seem as safe or as family friendly for us in the future who want to start a family. So that ended up becoming the biggest priority, the area as well as having a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. So once we looked at another area, really it was this home that we're in that we kind of fell in love with. We fell in love with the neighborhood as we were driving through it, as well as just the simplicity of the layout. Even though again it is a smaller footprint of like not even 1,200 square feet, we can really see ourselves here for a long while. So once we decided, okay, this is the home that we want to be in, we want to put in an offer, it was thankfully just a really simple process. Thankfully, Susan really asked the sellers for a lot, basically asking the sellers to give a lot of money toward closing costs, to the point where, and we're able to get into this Hometown Heroes program with Florida, we actually didn't have to put any money down at closing. The only thing that we had to pay for kind of right off the bat was a $2,000 kind of like earnest kind of fee to the lawyers who were going to take really good care of the process. Literally that and a couple inspections were all that we paid for the house right now. Now with the Hometown Heroes program, how that worked was that the government paid for 5% of the closing costs. And the caveat to that is that it is technically a second mortgage, but it is 0% interest. And if we don't pay the loan back in full or whatever, then whenever we refinance or whenever we sell the home, or if we turn it into a rental property, that's when we would need to pay that 5% back. But again, praise Jesus, we were finally able to secure that Hometown Heroes funding the day that the state ran out of the funding. So it was really like a popular program because basically first-time home buyers were able to get it in the state of Florida, not just Hometown Heroes like teachers, firefighters, policemen, people like that. And so we were really grateful to secure that funding as well. And after, we put in the offer, seller accepted it, the time period between the offer being accepted and us being under contract and then the time to closing was filled with different things like taking a first-time homebuyer course, and that process between us being under contract and the closing date was for the underwriter to make sure that all the parts of the loan were good, everything was checking out, like we are credible, we are good to go. And that was a big part of that process. But once we were able to get everything approved, we finally made it to closing day. We had previously been emailed a bunch of the closing documents so that we could read through them, make sure everything looked good. And then on the actual closing day, we signed a bunch of papers and we got the keys. Forgot to say this before, but we also did the final walkthrough before the closing day with Susan as well because she had to go out of town. So we did the final walkthrough, everything looked good, and we're really excited about it. So that, even though that was kind of mentioned pretty quickly, was the process. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to them. So now we're in here and I'm going to see what I can do to help him, and then hopefully we'll take a look at those fluorescent lights and then grab some dinner back at the apartment. Okay guys, we're back from the house, and now that we've talked about the home buying process in a nutshell, now I just want to share with you briefly just what our plans are with some beginning projects as we get ready to move into the home. So as you know, now we are getting somebody to work on our popcorn ceilings. So that was quite a process in itself, but we decided to go with a particular guy who is going to, I guess it's specifically called, encapsulate our popcorn ceiling. We were thinking of having him scrape it and paint it to be the smooth finish, but we really didn't want to risk getting our popcorn ceiling tested for asbestos and then have it come back positive, as in it had it, because if we knew it had it, and if we wanted to scrape it, then it would be this whole potentially $10K ordeal to get the asbestos safely removed. Really quick, if you don't know, asbestos is basically some little building material that people would use that we've learned is very much so not good for you if you inhale it or if it's just in the air and you're just kind of breathing it in. So we decided to have our guy encapsulate it so that he's just painting over it and not disturbing the popcorn ceiling. And it also cuts down on the cost of it as well. The cost, oh, there is Okay guys, crisis averted. There was indeed a cockroach, but the husband annihilated it.
Well, I thought you said husband and I annihilated. And I was like, you didn't do anything.
No, it was...
How embarrassing.
It was just the husband who killed it with his handy dandy chacos that I got him. But yeah, guys, cockroaches. I'm sorry if that triggers any of you, but thank you, husband. All right, so now that that crisis is averted, having the guy encapsulate it cuts down on the cost. So we are ending up paying just about $4,200, and that is for our 1,180 square foot home. And he's putting that smooth finish over top of, oh, my poor husband is afflicted right now, but he's putting that, smooth finish over it so that it's good to go. So hopefully he'll be coming in sometime next week to get that started. We'll call him tomorrow to figure out how long he thinks it'll take. Before, with the removal, he said it would take a week and a half, 2 weeks. But with him just painting it, we're kind of hoping that it maybe takes a week max, just so that we can get in there ourselves and also paint the walls and whatnot. And then, yeah, pretty exciting stuff for those projects, and we're getting security installed and all that good stuff. So those are kind of the two big things right now. All that being said, guys, we are again really grateful, really excited for our home and just getting to work on it. We have seen the hand of God in placing the people in our lives and really giving us the endurance to get through this process, because it does require a lot of patience and a lot of just trusting in the process. But for us, ultimately trusting that the Lord knew exactly what home we were going to get. We are grateful for the home we've landed on, and we're grateful for the opportunity to get to working on it. But thank you so much for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not yet. I appreciate each one of you being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.